Tinubu is not an APGA, but will collaborate with the ruling party.
Peter Obi Melapuga, why can't we adopt Peter Obi?
It is rather the other way around. Because it seems there is a consistent effort to annihilate the party that made him. Today you are in party A, in the evening you are in party B, the next day you are in party C. Some persons have gone around 5 political parties. It's just an opportunist looking for a platform. Politicians don't believe in political parties. They just see parties as vehicle of opportunity. Finish. I'm not one of those that is so keen on Igbo president. What we need is healthy Southeast regional economic collaboration and development. In fact, if you look at the demographics, you see that we are highly disadvantaged as a people. Most times, the votes that come out of the 5 Southeast states may not be up to the votes that come out of Kano State alone. If an Igbo man is the president, the Hausa man will not believe that he's doing anything good. If a Yoruba man is president, the Igbo man will never believe that he's doing anything good because we reason along regional lines. Nigeria, we held thee, my own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. That's the highest point of that anthem. It is a constant reminder of what binds us together, that unity in diversity. A lawyer in active practice is not supposed to engage in any other business other than maybe farming. It's actually professional misconduct that can even lead to someone being derobed. There is this notion that lawyers in politics don't know anything in law. Because most lawyers who are grounded, you can't have time to go and play politics.
Yes.
APGA was a product of a clarion call for emancipation of Ndi Igbo, to give them a voice in the polity of our nation. Today in APGA, we have 36 state chapters. We have the APGA Zamfara state chapter. We have the APGA Kaduna state chapter. We have a state chairman in Zamfara. Functioning. It must be national in outlook, even though it maintains that regional appeal. If God wants to make your life on earth hell, he will give you a wife.
You know that.
If God wants to make your life on earth heaven, he will still give you a wife. Mr. Peter Obi, of course, till tomorrow remains one of the persons we are grateful to for his time in APGA. If we call APGA Hall of Fame, I think you should be comfortably seated there.
Bam, 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 bam. Ndị be anyị maka SM ya n'oge gbam ụmụ ebe anyị nọ ebe bụrụ anyị kpọpe ya ọ na-agbasịsị ebe bụrụ anyị kwụnye ya n'ọkụ na-ele ọ bụrụ na ị nwere obi ụtọ na-arụ ivi n'oge ma n'opu bọde afa mbụ Chukwu ji oke igwe ndụ odogwu bụ ya mbepe ezigbote onye Aba gbamgbo ebe na-akpọta ndị ọdịkọdị anyị ndị big talkers ndị nwere ike iji ana ndị bụ nova kwuo ọda agbam ọ bụrụ dara ọgbam ịma na ọbụrụ gbam tata anyị nwere amụ nwoke ya bụrụ nwoke eze nwata ụmụocho a man that some of you nwere ike I've only before 1 or 2 times. Of course, this is a chief barrister Sly Ezeokenwa, the national chairman of all Progressive Grand Alliance. APGA, the foremost progressive.
That's not APGA.
APGA. Mobile on the way. August slide, no, na keep bazwa. Ibu national legal advisor.
Well, obo na ise ka esi bido. I ga-eje na state legal advisor.
Okay.
I was the state legal advisor from 2015 to 2019. Then national legal advisor from 2019 to 2023. Even in between that tenure, in 2022, I was appointed the Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties.
Yes.
Anambra State.
Yes.
And then by May 2023, precisely on the 31st of May, the party and say, okay, ka nye ndị ntorobịa ogere ka ma ga-etiekwa aka n'ebe a na-eme n'obodo anyị bụ Nigeria. And then I was elected the national chairman of APGA on the 31st of May 2023. And so it's a gradual ascension.
The trajectory.
Absolutely.
Dalarin because feel free it's any language.
Well, I'm only Igbo.
Yes.
Only Igbo.
Yes. So my English me Igbo because the idea of BAM is to communicate. Can they buy malify na ko? Kawala anyị kedu onye bụ Sly Ezeokenwa? Ganiru.
Ịma ajụjụ a isika maka maybe well, let us attempt an answer. Sly, we're a young man who was born and brought up in Onitsha.
What too?
Yes, all the very important for us to make that point. How mezigbo nwa otu. When the baby tozi bazi no nwa Fege.
Okay.
Because I was born in Fege, a place called Fege in Onitsha. I remember when this passage in the Bible and I say, can anything good come out of Nazareth? You know. Those days, Iba na bon Fege. The name Fege was synonymous with, very uncultured and unmannered set of people. And so, that was the place where I was born. Ebanwa can go primary school. And that's why na ihe na-eme na Anambra today because I go public primary school. The name of the school actually is Niger City Primary School. First of all, a guy from the man school and a guy. Man, for me, my mother then was a teacher. So it was like I had a nomadic education. Nomadic education, and I got school over and them no. So Leon at the school. Yes. So she was in Agai Primary School when I was in primary 1 to primary 3.
Okay.
Then I think when go say primary 3, I transfer her to Niger City.
Okay.
So look here, Niger City. Go from primary 4 to primary 6. Private school. Then public primary school, but the end thing then. Yes. And then from Agai, from Niger City, we proceeded to Christ the King College, CKC Onitsha. Go from JS1 up till JS3. In fact, started from beginning to the end. Before we now proceeded to University of Nigeria. Yes, Inter Paris. So before I proceeded to University of Nigeria Enugu campus, where I studied law and then ultimately in the law school.
Okay.
And so, in a nutshell, E.J. Kobonyev Sly is just a young man who came from a very humble background, because that's one thing I don't fail to state. From a very, very humble background. My mom was a primary school teacher, my dad a businessman. At some point, proudly was a driver, because at some point, and then, but the connection to APGA, Buna, my father was one of the foundation members of APGA upon formation, because he was a pioneer local government party chairman on Onitsha South. And so it's as good as this is the first and only political party I've ever been a member of. So I was in the university when APGA was registered as a political party. And then as a young man, Papiabu, national local government party chairman. And then it was, because the beautiful thing then, when APGA was a product of passion. And I really love, because part of what we are trying to create, not the possible, can the bany de kwa passionate or to hade, because in any chete, mbenam daziki iwe no. As a student, I read, history and government very well. I was very, very, interested in the evolution of Nigerians' political history, from the pre-independence, the colonial period to the independence and then the post-independence. But then one party, ndị Igbo ji chịkọta onwe ha mgbe anwa, ihe akpọrọ ya bụ OPGA. But then when they can akpọ OPGA, the United Progressives Grand Alliance. The same symbol APGA nwe today, ka o nwelo.
Ọkụkọ Igbo.
Chi efogo, chi ndị Igbo efogo. So emesịa, ihe mgbe anyị register APGA, ife the founding fathers so register kwa bu OPGA anwa. So they tried to register that United Progressives Grand Alliance. Ndị anyị na-ekejo. Eweche wepụzie United, tinyezie All Progressives Grand Alliance. But the symbol, ọkụkọ, ife ọkụkọ anwa gosi bụ na chi ndị Igbo efogo. Maka ọ bụ na ị na-anya ichete mgbe formula APGA, it was a product of marginalization. I believe na anyị bụ ndị Igbo enwere ebe anyị so n'ihe a na-eme. I say na I need a platform I ga-eji wee na-articulate our voice. That was the major reason why APGA was registered and was formed and registered as a political party. And so, of course, the rest is history. And so, in a nutshell, Ekowo Onyembo, just a young man, who grew up in the streets, fortified by divine grace. Because I always tell people, my journey is a journey of grace.
Okay.
Yes, I can say my journey is just filled with grace, because I can tell you that I wasn't probably the smartest or the most intelligent or the most dutiful, but then God took us where we are, and for Him we owe everything in life.
Dalo, iso na fege. Mwase kuna fege partly. Kedu street iso na fege?
First of all, I was born in Kaduna Street. And then at some point, at some point, we moved over to 6th Avenue. 6th Avenue, but just directly opposite Abigail. I'm Abigail along that 6th Avenue. Just
Monke Street.
I am a year before story. So I went now that 6th Avenue. It was like the old Songhai Academy. The house, the very popular, owned by Chief GCM on UK, SAN, late. GCM
back in the day.
Yeah, back in the days. Directly opposite the house of Chief Ajebo.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So na Bishop Shanahan.
I'm a Bishop Shanahan. Very well.
I na St. Faith in na Lafayette Primary School. St.
John's Anglican Church. Then I am, of course, Immaculate Heart. No, I'm a figure. Because from day one till, in fact, I'm a figure. University of Nigeria Enugu campus when I gained admission to study law. I'm a figure.
Mgbe na-ekwu okwu ego primary school, ana m eche na ị ga-akpọ Ugborimili.
Ugborimili school ndị Ajibọ ma ọ bụ Ugborimili. Ugborimili nọ n'ime housing estate. Ọ school ndị Ajibọ. Ube school, ị ga na-ekwu Otumoye.
Otumoye.
Otumoye. Then my mother at some point was a teacher in Otumoye.
Okay.
Yes.
Agụ m ebe a na-akpọ City. Enwere City.
Mama maybe na-ekwu.
City International Secondary School.
Yes.
CIS.
Banka bụ no ka private na.
City azụ ụlọ.
Daalụ.
Daalụ nne. CKC.
Yes.
CKC. Anyị nwa bụ una senior brother.
Okay.
DMGS. Anyị nwa. So no, my junior brother. No.
Achọrọ m ịgala argument awa. But ịma na abụ na si kwube, there is only one university on the Niger.
Okay.
And that is Christ the King College.
University or secondary school?
University on the Niger.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Actually, no, okay.
University of Nigeria. I'm a even Christ the King College.
It's like CKC bo Juebulu School bono obone garo. One wute na se na game bono onye gacha CKC but oneko. What is it about that school?
Well, sadly, mgbe anyị gụrụ ọ dịchara otu anwa. But I'm happy. The good old days. Currently, under the Archbishop of Onitsha, CKC has become the pride of the nation, not just Igbo land, the nation. CKC is known for a lot of things, starting from the motto of the school, Bonitas Disciplina Scientia. Bonitas standing for goodness, Disciplina standing for discipline, then Scientia stands for knowledge. And so we believe that these three things make a man. When you talk about goodness, goodness has connotation with morality. Goodness. Because you may be a disciplined criminal. So it's not just about discipline. And it comes in that order. Because ndị craft that motto in that order. There is something unique about the order it comes from.
Yes. Which one comes first?
There is a quote. I'm trying to remember who it's attributed to. One popular leader, a former American president, he said there are three things to look for in a man. I think knowledge, discipline, and integrity. Say if you don't find integrity, don't bother about the other two. And so, for us, goodness is number one. You must be a good person. even if you're not that intelligent, even if you're not, but you must be a good person. That's goodness.
Yes.
Then discipline matters a lot in the life of anybody. Anybody that wants to go far in life, you need discipline and then knowledge. And so, if you check round you, from the time CKC was established in 1933 by late Archbishop Hiri, the then Archbishop of Onitsha, if the crop of students, because there was more or less a quest for that institution to groom young people, not just to become worthy members of the society, but not the ebullient leaders of tomorrow.
Yes.
And also, of course, like Archbishop Hiri was a white, then some formators, at some point, CKC more or less became very popular under Father Tagbo. Father Tagbo,
yes.
He was the most popular principal of CKC. I'm not saying that the other the other people that started the school, but Father Brawley, Father Flanagan, and so on and so forth. Yes, they all did their bit. But it was Father Tagbo, and under him, most of the men today who have one way or the other been in positions of leadership in Nigeria,
emanated.
He groomed, of course, our own brother, because I must mention Mr. Peter Obi. He was a student under Father Tagbo. The current SSG, Professor Solochukwu Lobelo. The former SSG, of course, Oseeloko Obaze. Then the former governor of Anambra after Peter Obi, Chief Willie Obiano. The former governor of Rivers State, Dr. Peter Odili. And so there are so many of them to me. And it has, because of that, this crop of leaders, there is something unique about them. Something unique. And that's one thing that you can't take away from that institution called CKC. And so we are grateful. We are formed in CKC. When I came in, our principal then was Reverend Father Vincent Nwosu. Who, of course, sadly he passed on about 2 years after we came in. But then there are other principals, and of course, Nzemeko Olisa, who was at some point the chairman of ASUBEB, who was the person that came in when we were leaving. Yeah. And so we owe much of the discipline, the upbringing, the training, and the knowledge we acquired from the dexterity, and resilience of not just the teachers, but the formators that we had then in CKC. And so that's the thing about, and the whole rivalry. I understand you went to Dengram. Fine, that's good. But I would have preferred you attended CKC.
But you just said that you people's glory just started recently. You just said that.
No, I said reenacted. No. I said,
you don't use the word reenacted.
I said no. I said Mbanye Golo. At some point, it was generally it was generally for, because at some point in Anya, when the standard of discipline and education in most schools dropped in the 90s to early 2000s, starting from, of course,
yes.
Then for so many years. So
yes.
But after some point, the APGA government then under P2B handed over schools back to the churches.
Yes.
And then the discipline CKC returned. And today, it's one of the best secondary schools. In any WAEC results, JAMB results, and everything, they always come out tops in the country.
One of the best, I agree. One of the best. I actually agree.
Pineleaf Estate and Properties. Ndenna Namonyolo. Adamolua. Shahara. Pineleaf Estate and Properties.